everyone. I am Jitendra Singh Dahiya. I welcome you to read my story where I would interview authors, speakers, coaches, celebrities, entrepreneurs, and more. Today I have with me Mr. Nikhil Chadha. Nikhil is a transformation specialist for individuals and organizations to help people live, lead, connect, and influence mindfully. His vision is to bring a human back into human interactions and lead Mindwize, where they make transformation simple for people and organizations mindfully. He conducts workshops and programs for leadership, culture, capabilities building, along with programs in mindfulness, meditation, and personal transformation. He is currently working on his first book along with building innovative programs for personal transformation and growth. Today, he will be sharing with us his life journey. So let us hear from him. Welcome, Nikhil. The platform is open and now over to you.
Thanks, Ethan. Happy to be here. It's not often that one gets to reflect and say what the journey has been like to get us
Yeah,
where we are. So I'm happy this is a conversation which will help me do that as well.
same here. Same here. So,
So,
to start with, like, I'd like to know from your side that how does your past life look like, and how it has affected you to become a person who you are, or you wanted to be.
okay, so I am a single child and I come from army family.
Okay.
Something interesting, I changed 16 schools during my
Oh.
entire schooling without being thrown out from anyone. Uh, and the thing was, so much change just made it so easy.
Yeah.
And adapting to newer contexts and environments
Mhm.
became just a way of life, and everyone around was also doing that.
Yes.
It's much later when I joined the corporate that I realized that change was such a big, mountain that everyone was dealing with.
Yes.
And I think in a way it gave me an edge because I didn't come in with a mountain in my head. I came with having lived change a lot.
Correct.
So that became one huge arc for me. The second thing that allowed me to do was that because of the exposure we got, and we've lived in a combination between big cities and very remote areas, uh, I got a mix of being creative
Yeah.
as well as what a typical engineer mindset is in the country, right? So that
Right.
was a balance that I brought to a lot of my work.
Hmm.
The third thing it allowed me to do was um, call it out of boredom or call it because without realizing, I was always into transformation as an
Correct.
idea.
Yeah.
I would always focus on doing a new job, a new role, something I've never
Okay.
done earlier.
Hmm.
And that's a promise I made myself very early on.
Okay.
So even if my function was the same, I would always
Hmm.
take a new role within that.
You're trying
So
new
that
things
gave me
every time.
continue every time.
Yeah.
And I have at times said, I will be jobless rather than take a role which I've already done.
Okay.
So those were some tough calls at that time, but somehow it just felt true to what I felt was the right way for me. And also with this background, I think a huge focus on people and
Okay. Yeah.
cultures and a way of building people together as a community
Yes.
was just something that got seeded early on.
Hmm.
And so did leadership. So as I kept growing in my corporate ladder, and there was this time to say, okay, what next?
Correct.
Two things came to my mind. One was transformation coming from technology and digital, and the
Mhm.
other was people.
Yeah.
And looking back, I realized in every initiative in our corporate world,
Hmm.
if we thought through the lens of the people whose lives will be impacted,
Yeah.
we got amazing success.
Right.
And when we did not do that well enough, our
Correct.
projects failed.
Correct. Agree.
So I took a turn and I said, I'm going to get into the people side of the work and go deep
Okay.
into that.
Yeah.
Totally new from a corporate and an education perspective,
Hmm.
um, but exciting. And it brought me a lens of saying, from a business side, how do we look at people? We combine the
Yeah.
two.
Correct. Correct.
The
Correct.
third crack, which I got because of the background, was I
Mm.
got very early into ancient practices, religion, spirituality, reading,
Okay.
meditation. So
Yeah.
I think my first attempt at meditation would have been when I was like 15, 16 years old. And I
Wonderful.
remember and 18 onwards, as you left home, right, gave you so much opportunity to explore. So that track was also going on.
Hmm.
And when I came into this, by then I got exposed to coaching. That's
Hmm.
a field to help people go from good to great.
Yeah.
I got exposed to therapy as a way to work on improve upon your deeper issues.
Inner
And then
soul.
mindfulness was there, inner soul. And somehow at some point this just converged.
Correct.
And I discovered that when I bring this all together
Hmm.
and I'm able to share with people
Yes.
what worked for me and what didn't work for me, and this
Correct.
is the knowledge base available, it made a difference. And
Yes.
I think that day I said, I'm quitting and I'm going to make an impact to so many more people by building an organization that
Definitely.
does just that.
Yeah. Definitely. Wonderful. So it
That's why
was
I'm
an
here.
amazing journey so far. And you have like started meditation and spirituality side of the life quite early. This is really wonderful thing. Most people don't do. They don't understand the impact of it so early. So this is a wonderful thing. And with this, I'd like to know about the things which you are passionate about in your life.
I think for me, I am a learning junkie. If there's something which allows me to expand my horizons,
Yeah.
more importantly, overcome things that I feel are internal barriers,
Mhm.
I I jump at it. So
Okay.
I will at times maybe think 10 times before I spend 5,000 rupees on something. But
Mhm.
if there is a really good investment which helps me uh, transform some piece of myself, and
Yeah.
I don't have the 2 lakhs it might take, I will figure a way
Correct.
to arrange for 2 lakhs, but I will not think twice about that.
Yeah.
And that's something I think I'm most passionate about. And it shows up in different areas of my life. That's the central
Yes.
theme that's always been there for me.
Yeah. Right. 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 So, like, I also would like to know more about like your work and experiences so far.
Um, in my corporate role, or since I've quit corporate and moved out,
Professionally before corporate and current times also. What exactly, like, what have done and what you are doing
what
right
all I've
now?
done.
Everything.
Okay, so very typical for most of us. It's an engineering, computer engineering, along with
Mhm.
a MBA degree.
Yeah.
And with that, I got into the technology space.
Hmm.
My earliest stint was a shorter one with a smaller consulting company for 2, 3 years. Post MBA, I
Hmm.
joined
Okay.
GE's global technology leadership program.
Hmm.
So there, I worked across multiple industries, BFSI, healthcare,
Yeah.
energy, corporate. But
Hmm.
ideally, the concept was how do we bring technology to make businesses grow better?
Okay.
So any and every kind of implementation. I held global roles for GE in the entire telecom
Wonderful.
space.
Hmm.
Some of them were forward-looking, creating newer processes which never existed.
Correct.
And that was like working in a huge conglomerate, very structured, and
Hmm.
very easy for me to get into coming from a army background. Similar huge juggernaut, very structured, and how life
Yes.
goes. Leadership
Yes.
and learning was very critical both places.
Yes.
And then I took a swing. I went to Flipkart, and this is before we did the first big billion day.
Hmm.
And that was a whole new world.
Yeah.
That was a whole new set of experiences because you've seen the very mature and structured, and now every day looks different here. Every 1 hour looks very different here.
Yeah.
So when I spoke about adapting to change, this was like a 180 degrees,
Correct.
and I loved it. The
Hmm.
challenge was amazing. It's something I had never done.
Yeah.
Like I said, they'll always do that. And every day you were rising up to newer goals, which collectively you felt. The question we used to ask is, does it feel undoable and no one's done it? If the answer is yes, okay, then let's go and do it.
Correct.
So that brings out a whole new level. And at the back of my mind, it was about how do I take what I learned in my life and in G,
Hmm.
contextualize, and make it work here
Correct.
without replicating it.
Hmm.
Because you cannot replicate. It's like I'm trying to take one religion and dump it on somebody else.
Yes.
So that transformation journey was amazing for me. and
Hmm.
I specifically was servicifying the entire technology function,
Yeah.
IT. Worked on supporting, scaling, and digitizing the supply chain
Correct.
end to end. So
Hmm.
phenomenal learning across very
Correct.
different kinds.
Hmm.
And then I shifted into L&D and
Hmm.
said, okay, let me go here. And because I hadn't studied it,
Hmm.
any new term was for me to go deeper into. So I think in
Yes.
the 2 years, I studied so much
Hmm.
that I was able to have conversations with my peers who've been seasoned professionals because
Huh.
I always knew they know so much more. So
Hmm.
hyper learning phase was that.
Yeah.
And after that, I became an entrepreneur, starting
Wonderful.
something going to be a small company.
Yeah.
And as we speak now, we're now in a space of scaling. So it's a whole
Correct.
new phase
Hmm.
that isn't, that's also part of my journey around.
And you have, I think, 3 to 4 companies you are running right now.
So most of my time goes into building Mindwize. That's the
Hmm.
core.
Yeah.
We also bring these services as part of Mindwize Consulting, which is a larger full-scale consulting organization.
Hmm.
I've co-founded Mindful Center of Excellence,
Yeah.
where the vision was that if in India someone
Hmm.
wants to say, I want to work on my own growth and transformation,
Yes.
and they want to get a range of programs so that they can choose which kind suits them, where do they go?
Hmm.
No one company can do all of it.
Correct.
So as a
Correct.
platform, if we can handpick some of the
Hmm.
best work happening in country, and we can partner with some very well thought out programs globally
Yeah.
and bring them into India,
Right.
how would that make a difference to Indians? And
Correct.
that
Correct.
was the idea of Mindful Center of Excellence.
Yes.
And the
Hmm.
fourth one is the Togetherness Village.
Hmm.
It's based out of UK. That's a whole other world where we use body awareness
Hmm.
to connect with each other in everything that we do. And
Okay.
the idea is to make it a small village of people who are wanting to live with a lot more self-awareness
Yeah.
and help each other in whatever they are doing. So that's the
Wonderful.
fourth platform that I'm a
Hmm.
co-founder
Hmm.
for. But that's also the priority order in which way my time goes.
Okay. So, like, thoughts are really shaping up well, and your journey of transformation and like exploration, I would say, is really wonderful. And I think this is quite interesting too. So you have done so many things in life so far, and there are so many things you want to do in life. That is really wonderful.
So yes.
On the same note, I'd like to know about your vision, mission, and goal for next 5 to 10 years.
So I don't think I'll be able to break it into 5 to 10 years, but I do have some line of sight. See,
Mhm.
our larger vision is to bring human into human
Mhm.
interactions.
Correct.
Technology is coming so much into human interaction that the humanity is going out.
Correct. Correct.
And through everything that we do, we're trying to have people realize the importance, the
Mhm.
awareness, and equip them with the tools to use it in their own life in
Mhm.
different spheres.
Yes.
Now, aligned to that vision, we keep learning that more and more ideas, opportunities, collaborations keep coming up.
Yes.
And in that sense, what we want to do is, and to be honest, this came from one of our team members.
Mhm.
They said, if in India somebody thinks about personal transformation, they
Yeah.
should think about Mindwize.
Wonderful.
And just the way it came up, I was like, this gives me goosebumps.
Correct.
And it tells me how passionate
Definitely.
you are with this vision of ours.
If this kind of
So,
response you get from your teammates or from customers, maybe you get overwhelmed. Definitely.
totally. And it's a responsibility now that, you know what,
Yeah.
there are other who bought into what tomorrow can be like and the
Correct.
difference it can make to our lives. So,
Correct.
we need to make it happen.
Hmm.
So, in the next 5 to 10 years, we definitely want to be able to bring a range of products, go deep. We're looking to even have our own physical centers. COVID permitting, we should be able to start
Hopefully,
working on
this
that.
should go now. COVID should go now, finally.
Yes,
It's been long time.
yes. But the idea is whether it is online, whether it is offline, in at least to start with the major cities, if someone says,
Mhm.
I am grappling with these problems of mine,
Yeah.
they should be able to go to one place where they get a range of different ways
Hmm.
that will work for them.
Correct. Correct.
So, be it coaching, be it therapy, be it meditation, be it
Hmm.
somatic programs,
Yes.
be it working professionally, I want to be a better leader. I want to be able to drive change. Come here, it's all about transforming.
Yes.
We should be able to directly or through partnerships help you.
Correct. Any which way is possible. Wonderful.
Yes.
So
let's see what happens in 10 years.
So till now, like you have done so many things personally and professionally. I'd like to know more about like your personal gatherings from all those things. 3 to 4 life learnings which you can extract out of your journey.
One, I would definitely say it's taken shape in different ways, but if you look at your own life and say, I am the project manager and the leader for my life and what it becomes.
Yes.
You're the only one who can put 100% investment into it.
Correct.
No matter how much somebody else wants to help you, they will always be 100% minus a little bit because they have their own project to deal with also.
Yeah.
Right? And if we don't settle with this idea that I have to give this shape the way I would choose to, your journey doesn't start. That's one idea I would like people to take away as awareness. Second goes to the point that, okay, if this is what it is, how am I going to get there?
Correct.
So the second aspect is getting there is not a straight path.
Yes.
It is not a fixed path. It has to work for you in your definition.
Yes.
So trust the process and know that in today's day and age, there is so much information available that if you really want, you'll be able to get it. The journey can be made.
Correct.
And the third would be what I would say is the power of consistent implementation.
Yeah.
Make progress every single day. Be super focused that I am going to keep this central to what I'm doing, and you will find in a matter of 1 year as well, in a matter of 3 months, looking back, you'll see the difference your life has made.
Correct.
So these 3 things, if people can just bring into their lives, rest everything will start falling into place.
Correct. Rightly said and perfectly elaborated too. So with this, I'd like to know more about your programs. Like you, while discussing, you told me that you are running multiple programs, and you just specified that you are running 4 companies with different objectives in mind. So what specific programs you are having to cater to specific need of people? Can you share with us?
I will break it into 2 categories. Okay.
Yeah.
I call one the arena category. Now, what is the arena? Arena are the areas of our life where we show up and take action.
Okay.
Professionally is one big arena. Personally is another area.
Correct.
And professionally, what are the big things that a company is really worried about? 3 things. What's the future going to look like? So how does the organization transform?
Yes.
So we have programs which we do around. Now that we've figured it out, how do we build leaders who can make that happen?
Correct.
So building leaders for the future is the second area.
Yeah.
And the third is we've got the future and we've got people who can lead it.
Yes.
But how do we build capability in the rest of them?
Correct.
They can deliver on this, the implementation. So that's the third bucket. Now these are the arena of the professional world.
Professional side of the.
But remember, yes. But the reality is that the professional and the personal is the same human being.
Yes.
So if an organization says grow sales by 300% and the sales leader I'm supercharged, the human being was also scared. He's like, how am I going to do this?
Yeah, challenges.
And that's his personal arena. Totally. Now in personal arena, when we look at it, people have internal challenges which allow them to do certain things in their arena and which prevent them.
Correct.
Now let's go to the human being. What do we work with? We have our body.
Yes.
We have what we call our heart, where my wishes lie, aspirations, happiness lies, alignment lies. We have our mind.
Correct.
And controlling all this central piece is a breath.
Yeah.
Now some of us, we're very intellectual. We can start with the mind. Others are a lot more in touch with body. People with background in sports, or they love things like dancing, so they can have a feel for it. Somebody is very tuned with their feelings.
Yeah. Emotional.
So no matter where you are, no matter where you are, your journey should be able to start from there.
Yeah.
and slowly build the awareness with other areas.
Correct.
So we have a range of programs which help you transform your inner narrative,
Mm-hmm.
and these are the different 3 to 4 ways in which you can do it. And
Wonderful.
you can start anywhere and go deep, or you can start anywhere and incorporate another practice.
Yeah.
As an example, one thing that we just launched is Introduction to Meditation.
Mm-hmm.
And we said there's so many techniques,
Correct.
there's so many images we have, beliefs that we have about meditation.
Yeah.
But what if you were able to create a practice that works for you
Uh-huh.
and create an emergency practice? Because
Mhm.
if I get angry
Mm.
or if I get stressed out in a certain situation,
Mhm.
I can't go sit on a cushion and start chanting.
Yes.
I have to have something which helps me ground and calm myself
Correct.
here and then.
Correct. That is the first thing you look at.
Exactly. So we help you build a combination that works specifically for you.
Mm.
And in 3 months, you have a running practice.
Yeah.
So this is the buckets in which we create programs, and we're always ideating and combining and building programs, combining different things. I can actually say that I was asked by a participant once that what all do you combine,
Yeah.
that you can combine. And when we counted, we
Mhm.
figured there are at least 12 different fields which we can combine to create
Okay.
a program.
Okay.
And I think that many number of fields as an area of functional expertise is something that uniquely I think only we have.
Yes. Wonderful. So, like, you are working on the topmost challenges we can feel, we can face, uh, we may have, like, which is restricting us to move ahead in any direction.
Yes.
Could be personally
In
or
any
professionally.
direction.
Yeah. Wonderful. So with this, like, if somebody comes to you for your programs, what is the value addition or what is the opportunity they may look at after attending your programs or after getting like coaching sessions with you, maybe?
Yeah, the biggest thing to take away is that people decide their own journey. Remember the first lesson that you're the leader and project manager of your own
Yes.
life.
Yes.
So we are never prescriptive to say this is what you should do.
Okay.
But we help people get clarity. What would make them feel, yes, this is where I want to go in life.
Correct.
Right? So clarity is one big thing they take away.
Yes.
Sometimes it's professional, sometimes personal, and often it's a combination.
Correct.
The second thing that happens is when clarity happens, people are like, okay, I love this. How do I get there?
Huh.
Because A, B, C, D, why I don't think I can get there.
Yes.
So we help them work through that processes and figure out answers and help them go and implement them.
Yes.
And when they get stuck in the implementation or when they succeed in the implementation, there is learning about themselves.
Correct.
And then we help them make sense of that so they can keep moving ahead.
Yeah.
So that's the second thing that they take away.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'll go back to the arena. Some people want professional impact, some want personal, some want combination, some want growth. But in my experience, I don't think I have ever worked with anyone who started externally and eventually did not go internal. 100% cases have landed up here.
Yes, definitely.
Because that's our human reality.
Yes. Because most of the time we ignore the inner part in any form of transformation.
Yes.
And this is the problem.
One last aspect on that people will take away is they will have a lot more sense of relationships. And let me qualify relationships. We tend to think of relationships as with your family members and friends.
Yes.
It is not a complete picture. We have relationships to everything.
Correct.
Try throwing out an object from your house which you had for last 6 years. It pains.
Correct.
Because whether you use it or not, even once,
definitely.
you built a relationship with an inanimate thing.
Yes.
Think about money. Think about your relationship with yourself. Think about your relationship with your body. Everything boils down to how we relate to things.
Correct.
And through whatever goal you come with, whatever you achieve out of it, one thing you will take away is a much better clarity, self-awareness, and ability to manage your relationship with yourself and everything around.
Definitely. This is like
so people come with anxiety, stress, everything.
This is
Sorry,
like
go
key
ahead.
to anything which you may have in mind. Like I have seen many people, firstly they don't have clarity what they want to do in life, and there are people who have clarity but don't know how to do it. Third people are,
Yes.
they have clarity also, they know how to do it. The problem lies there in implementation. They don't know how to implement it or how to
Yes.
start with this. So this is the problems or challenge areas we may have, like any person may have. And like since you have just specified how this can be put into actionables which you suggest, definitely this will help many people if
May I
they
take one example just to
yeah.
make it sharper?
Hmm.
I was working with someone yesterday evening,
Okay.
and they had something that it's aligned to their life purpose. It's
Hmm.
central to the life purpose. And
Yeah.
when they talk about it, you know they're so honest about their purpose, you can feel it.
Hmm.
And as we drilled it down, it came to the first step, that is stopping them from get started.
Yes.
And when we explored it, we said, okay, how long have you been struggling with
Correct.
not being able to take this first step? Any guesses
Ah.
how long? It was 1 year plus. For one
Okay.
year, they said, I've tried multiple things. I just can't move ahead with it. Now,
Hmm.
take a guess, how long did it take for them to actually make the first step in the conversation?
Okay.
1.5 minutes.
That is awesome.
Because having
Hmm.
understood everything that stops them, we were able to come up with a way that will
Hmm.
help them just go over that speed breaker.
Okay. Yeah.
And it took 1.5 minutes. And once that speed breaker was done, in the next
Yes.
15 minutes,
Hmm.
they had made all plans and done the work, which they said I would have taken 3 months to do.
Correct. Correct.
Our job is to just say, here is the light, see if you can put your foot to the left instead of the
Ah.
right. Maybe you'll be able to run.
Correct. Correct.
They do the running.
Correct. Definitely. Like right way of doing it is this only. Like you need to channelize yourself. You need to identify what are the challenges you face and what are the problems you have in your mind. Like most of us have mind blocks related to some situation. We don't want to come out of it. This is the problem lies here. So with this I'd like to know about your personality, like since you've been into learning and development business for so long, you are kind of expert and extrovert while dealing with your clients. Were you the same when you started your journey, or maybe in childhood you were an introvert or an extrovert then also?
I was a total introvert till I think I reached about 16 years of age.
Okay.
That's when I started being more externally oriented also.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But I think for the longest time, um, my home place would
Mm-hmm.
be with myself.
Uh,
But now when I look back, I think in the last 10, 15 years, I normally need almost a half and half mix of
mhm.
stillness and clarity with myself,
Yeah.
and also engagement with others. Because like I said, right, we're all about relations.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So I need almost a half and half balance. Similarly, I need a half and half balance between being in a city versus being in the countryside,
Okay.
between not traveling and traveling. So I
uh,
guess I'm a mix. Uh,
Correct. So
when I don't
balancing
get
it
one,
out
it bothers
everywhere.
me. Yes, it's just natural for me, I guess. That's
Yes.
my happy place.
Yes. Wonderful. So this is like realization of a self is really important. So in your journey, like who all were there to support you when you started maybe your career, maybe your L&D journey altogether?
A lot of people. I think I was fortunate to have some fantastic leaders and some horrible leaders.
Okay.
Both taught me what to do and what not to do.
Not to do.
Uh,
Yeah.
and I think looking back, I got mentors in different shape and form at different points in time. And
Yes.
each one was shaping my way of looking at things over the years. In fact,
Mhm.
I'm in touch with a lot of them.
Yes.
Um, Very interestingly, when I was making the shift, I did speak to one or two people who were my seniors in the industry.
Okay.
They have their own companies.
Hmm.
Um, and I think one pivotal conversation was where they asked for 90 minutes. For 60 minutes, I only had questions coming from them. And
Okay.
suddenly they said, okay, do it. And I said, what suddenly made you decide? He says, questions don't matter.
Ah,
What we were checking is, are you emotionally ready to make this change? And it looks like you
yes,
are.
yes,
And as long as that is there, you'll find answers to everything else.
correct.
And that was a huge aha moment for me that,
Mhm.
yes, that's what makes a difference. So, of course, friends are there, family is there.
Hmm.
And I always joke with my friends that they're like, you know what, you work hard, you become super successful, and then we don't have to work.
Great.
But on a serious note, I think a lot of life challenges, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people, and they all became teachers in their own way. It
Yes.
was just
Hmm.
when am I ready to look at them as teachers and take the lessons they were teaching.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
It takes
It's
a village to
mm,
make a, to raise a child, I think.
yes, definitely. So it's basically who we are and how we try to explore things. This is really important. And you have touch based everyone who you could have got some kind of support, and you definitely got that.
Oh, yes. And, in the journey of building the company, I think a lot of good karma came back.
Yeah.
Um, if every time I was really stuck with a problem and I said, how do I fix this?
Hmm.
Within 3 days, and I'm being very specific, within 3 days,
Hmm.
someone randomly will call me and said, you know what, 12 years ago we interacted there. I
Yeah.
just felt like reaching out of what's happening, and I would just mention this, you know what, have you done this? And they actually had the answer that I needed.
Really
Whether it
good.
was
Hmm.
support, whether it was their own
Hmm.
organization, whether it was guidance, whether it was
Hmm.
tools, whether it
Correct.
was a
Correct.
connection,
Hmm.
it just happened at that time. And I was
Correct.
like, something's watching over this.
Definitely. If you have in your mind that you want to do something, you definitely get all the answers which you are looking for. Wonderful. So
This we thought.
with this, I'd like to know about people who are your inspirations and motivation, and why.
Oh, that's a difficult one. But I think there are a bunch of people from the public arena that I've
Mm-hmm.
sort of been fascinated with.
Yeah.
I always liked Steve Jobs for two things. Uh,
Okay.
he was always passionate about the vision that he had.
Correct.
In first phase, he was what I will still call quote unquote a jackass about it. That's what
Mm.
people write and say.
Yeah.
But his passion was there. And then he
Yes.
did an inner transformation, which
Yes.
allowed him to take it to another level.
Correct.
And in that sense, I see his journey not about him being a fantastic design person or a
Mm-hmm.
passionate person or a convinced person, but a story about how inner transformation can take everything to a whole different level.
Yes.
Second, I would say also because I'm a very avid reader,
Mm.
the thing I like about Warren Buffett in that sense is not that he's this big billionaire, but
Yeah.
he really exemplifies that gathering and applying knowledge, implementing knowledge
Correct. Correct.
consistently
Correct.
can build this for you.
Yes. That
The
is
second
the key
thing
to
that I
success
really
for
look at.
him.
Yes. And third, I would say I have had a bunch of leaders in my own journey, not
Mm-hmm.
very well known people, corporate leaders.
Yes.
Satish is someone I cite about a lot.
Mm-hmm.
In how they live and how they lead people, I have
Yes.
seen them actually
Mm-hmm.
be what a mindful leader should be like and the
Okay.
impact
Yeah.
they can have in people's lives.
Mm.
Very passionate, but very clear on work, very connected with people.
Right.
If I can imbibe those practices and
Mm-hmm.
help people learn those practices, I think it will make for a very different world.
Correct. Correct.
So
Correct.
that's been a combination. And of course, you keep finding brilliance in anyone you meet, any new
Yes.
thing you read. There
Mm.
is a spark of brilliance. And
Yes.
I think I'm an aggregator of sorts in that way.
Ah, true, true. So finally, I'd like to know about your take on success. What do you think like success is to you, and how does it look like?
Ah, well, success looks like me sitting on a beach and relaxing in one way.
Wonderful.
But what I'm relaxing about, I guess
Mm.
what I'm relaxing about is the fact that there were a lot of people whose lives became better because of
Yeah.
the work we did.
Mm.
In fact, just yesterday, the first person I ever coached formally
Mm-hmm.
who had a huge transformation. He had a
Hmm.
personal milestone achieved.
Okay.
It was late at night, but I saw and I called him and we connected on what his journey has been like.
Okay.
And it really feels satisfying to say somewhere you could witness that kind of a transformation.
Yeah.
So on the beach, looking back, saying there were people whose lives became better,
Correct.
there are families which became better, there are children
Yes.
who had more connected parents,
The
there are
kind of feeling of
workplaces,
satisfaction making others'
yeah,
life
that's
better.
satisfaction. And the
Wonderful.
second, I have had a difficult relationship with money all my life. I'm still
Okay.
working through that.
Mm-hmm.
But when I've reflected on it in the last few years,
Mm.
it's changed in the way that I feel that if I can help people
Yeah.
work within themselves so that they
Mm.
can have a decent degree of wealth for themselves,
Correct.
that would also give me some sense of satisfaction.
Yes. Yes.
So these two things, I think, on the beach looking back, I'll be like, life is good.
Wonderful.
And
Like
of course, in
satisfaction
this,
is really
the only way
important.
we'll do that is having a lot of experiences
Mm.
and combining all of them. So experiences become a better offer.
Yes.
These
Definitely.
three things.
So, on last note, any advice, suggestion you would like to share with our viewers and listeners?
Yeah, I would say take charge, become the project manager, leader for your own life.
Yes.
Second, know that it is possible, uh,
Correct.
but also know that the process is messy,
Yeah.
which means you will
Definitely.
take 3 steps forward, you will take 2 steps back, somebody is 10 steps back. But as long as you are continuously moving ahead, you're constantly
Yes.
working, it will crack for you. That's
Yes.
the only way anyone ever did it. Uh, and relentlessly work on shining yourself inside out.
Yeah.
You work on this, your external world will look very different.
Correct.
If
Correct.
you just do these three, you're onto an amazing orbit changing life.
Yes, definitely. And these advices are really easy to follow. If everybody want to transform their life, this is the first step they should look at. And I must say the discussion with you was really amazing. And I want to hear you more. For that, I would like to invite you again in near future to discuss similar kind of things all together again. And thank you so much, Nikhil, for your wonderful insights and amazing thoughts you shared with us. I'd also like to share your social media links with our video so that people can come and be connected with you, take your help, advice, guidance wherever they feel like. So, for that, I would be sharing your details. And thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for watching and listening. I hope you all must have gathered a lot of information and valuable insights while listening and enjoying this discussion. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a good time. Thank you, and bye bye.